Da, 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 da. Yes, indeed. I don't have any. There you go. No, I don't have any Christmas music queued up. But all right, no radio. This is when people are like, "What is this dude talking about?" Don't calm down. I'll explain it to you. Snow rifle.
Even I know what this is.
Yeah, Jared knows because we talked about it before. I hipped you guys to this.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
Those of our veteran listeners will know what it is. And I guess probably anybody in your generation, because
people in my generation will remember. Yeah. We got some stuff to talk about and some admin notes. So welcome to the show. Pay attention, and it's going to be fun.
Welcome to Student of the Gun Radio, proudly brought to you from the SDS Imports studio. If you want quality that's affordable, visit sdsimports.com. We don't just talk guns and gear, we also discuss current events and politics, because guns are politics. Now sit back and listen louder to your co-host, CEO of Full 30, Jared Markle, and your beloved host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Morning to all of you out there in the live listening audience. Good morning. I don't know how many people we have on the West Coast listening to us. I'm not even sure if our signal is allowed inside of the PRK or not. It
used to be the biggest state, followed by Texas.
PRK?
Yep.
PRK? Okay. Well, good morning if you are if you woke up in PRK this morning. Admin notes, we will be taking, I'm going to go ahead and get where's the calendar? I'm going to get the calendar here so that I can speak intelligently, or at least pretend to speak intelligently. So here's your admin note, public show listeners, all listeners. It is currently, as this show airs, the show airs on Monday the 20th. We're going to do 4 shows this week. Then next week, the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30, blah, 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 blah. We are taking the week off. So we will be back on the 3rd.
Oh, the 3rd is the Monday?
1/3/22. Our next new show. Well, we're going to have a new show on Wednesday, and we'll have one on Thursday. But just follow along with me, okay? We're going to take a week off, and then we'll be back on the 3rd of January. So. But fear not, because this is episode 1116. That means you have at least 1,000 episodes to keep you busy.
1,000.
1,000 episodes. And if you're listening in the Discord, you can leave a question, and we might have an answer.
Which all of you should be. studentofthegun.com/Discord. Get in there.
Yeah, you could do that live. And if it's not live, then that's fine, too. If you're listening to this while you're decorating the Christmas tree or while you're not in the living room with your in-laws or whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, every single week we do this little thing called the Duracoat Finished Firearm of the Week, and this week is no different. So listen up for the super cool music. Ba-da-ba-da-dum-bum. All right. Here it is. You say, haven't I seen that one before? And I say, I don't think so. I have some white guns, but this one is unique. This is actually a custom build. There it is. And here's the magazine. This gun is chambered in the 6.8 SPC 6.8 millimeter SPC2. You're like, wow, that is a lot of words. That's a lot of numbers and letters. Yes. The SPC2, this is a lesson for you guys. Well, first of all, let me tell you about the colors. What I did is I went to the Duracoat website, and they have these camouflage patterns, and they have a category called the Dura Hunter category. And within that category, there is one that's called, what is it called? I think it's called Winter Twig, or let me see. It's called Winter Twig, yeah. So that's what this is. This is the winter twig pattern from Durcoat. And they have specific colors that go with it. I believe in winter twig you get obviously you get a white, you get it's like a snow white gray. I can't remember the exact colors, but if you go and get the kit, you'll know. But that is, if you go to DuracoatFinishedFirearms.com and you go to the Dura Hunter camo patterns, because you obviously get a template. You get the colors, you get the template pattern to produce that, to make super cool G-Wiz looking stuff like this. All right, so this is an AR, and it's chambered in 6.8 SPC. And way back when, in the mid to late, well, actually the late 2000 zeros, about 09-ish, 08-ish, 09-ish, I was at, I think I'm speaking correctly. I was at Gunsight Training Academy, and one of the guys showed up there, and he said, "Hey, check this out." And he reached in his pocket, and he pulled out some cartridges. And he said, "I was just at the Remington facility." This was a gunwriter guy. He was a gunwriter guy, and he said, "I was just at the Remington facility, and this is the future of the American Army rifle." I was like, "Oh, really?" This might have been like 2008 or something. And he said, "Oh yeah, this is it." And he said, "According to Remington." You mean the one that's bankrupt? Shh. According to Remington, this is going to replace the 5.5. Within 10 years, this cartridge is going to replace the 5.56, and all American rifles are going to be chambered in 6.8 SPC. I said, okay. Now, the truth is that they did send pallet loads of 6.8 SPC overseas, specifically to Afghanistan, I guess a little bit to Iraq, but primarily Afghanistan. And they gave it to SOCOM and the Marine Corps. And they're like, hey, of course they gave them rifles and stuff. And they're like, go out and kill people and then come back and tell us what happened with this. The sad thing about the 6.8 SPC is there's really nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with the cartridge. It's actually a good cartridge. Unfortunately, this was a situation that we see, and I'm gonna. This is a little bit of advice to you guys. When somebody comes around and says, "Hey, did you hear about the new?" And you're like, "No," and you're like, and they, "Yeah, this is the newest, coolest. It's the metric system," and this is me in school in 1976, and my teacher saying, "You need to learn the metric system because within 10 years, the entire country is going to be metric." Now, I don't know if you guys are mathematicians or not, but that was 1976. I was in elementary school, and the whole country's not metric.
And you'll never be carrying around a calculator in your pocket.
You need to learn to do this. You're not going to have a calculator with you everywhere you go. But, and I thought about it at the time. I scratched my head and I thought, and actually at the time I was a small arms and tactics instructor for the military. And I thought, do you know how many AR, M4, M16 guns there are in the system? Do you know how many uppers, lowers, magazines, part kits there are? It numbers in the millions.
It's more than one.
Yeah, more than one, less than a trillion. I don't know. We could ask Joe Biden how many there are.
1 million, trillion, billion.
Zach, do you have that? If you have that, go ahead and play it. But I said to convert all of them, and here was the lie that they told us about the 6.8. They said, "Oh, the 6.8, it's close enough to the 5.56 that you can use the existing magazines." No, you can't. No, you can't. That's why we tried. All of us gun guys, we tried. They're like, oh, yeah, you'll have a few stoppages here and there. Like, no. So then they said, okay. All right, so we're going to have to come up with dedicated magazines. Okay, there's that. But this cartridge, it's going to replace the 5.56. And we're going to get all new. And then they started saying stuff like, well, here's what we'll do. They're just going to manufacture millions of uppers and new magazines and swap them for the lowers. And I'm thinking, you have a division of people that are going to do this. They're going to go through and swap. Well, it won't happen right away, but here's the deal. In our modern world, the 6.8 SPC cartridge, originally it was called the 6.8 SPC. Then they modified it. Now the ammo that you would buy on a shelf today would be called SPC Roman numeral 2, right? The SPC 2. And I'm not going to get into all the minutia, but essentially they modified it ever so slightly. So if you wanted to get one, you could. Now, is there anything wrong with the 6.8 SPC2 as a cartridge? No, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a fine cartridge. And Jared, who really is making good use of the 6.8?
Who?
Pig killers.
Oh, yeah. I was just looking at the Finished Firearms channel in Discord, and 47 Cav is his username. He posted a 6.5 Grendel, said it was his very first attempt at painting one of his rifles.
Cool.
Turned out very good.
Cool. So, the 6.8 is actually was adopted. Was adopted down south first, in Georgia, in places with lots of hogs, Texas, and so forth, because you can feed it in a semi-auto mag-fed gun. Which, if you're going to be hunting hogs, you generally want a mag-fed gun. You want to be able to shoot quickly because those suckers are moving constantly, and you just need to kill them. The bullets are nice and heavy. Your sister, you remember that your sister, actually, the gun this gun right here, before it was white, it was not white. It was black and brown.
Yeah.
And this is the gun that your sister used to kill that Jacob's Ram in Texas.
Oh, really?
Yep. She killed it with a 6.8 SPC. And
I didn't know that.
She used this scope too, this Trijicon ACOG.
Yeah. Wasn't that like 180 yards or whatever?
It was more than 100, less than 2.
Okay.
It was more than 100, less than 2.
I just remember because she was like, yeah, that was pretty good.
She did a fantastic job. I was a little nervous. And bless her heart, she was the only one shooting.
Yeah.
So everyone just stood there quietly and watched her shoot. There's no pressure there.
Yeah, no pressure.
No pressure. The whole hunting party isn't watching you right now. So the future of the 6.8 SPC, I don't know. The Army keeps saying, we're going to come up with a SAW machine gun in 6.8. And I'm like, wow, you guys must have so much money. Just throw money on top of money.
6.8 machine gun is like, that would be pretty cool, though.
People made 6.8 saws. They made 6.8 saws. They made 300 blackout saws, and so on and so forth. But this gun right here, this winter rifle, is done up in winter twig, and it is a 6.8 SPC2. And I thought you guys would just enjoy that. And you know what's crazy to me, Jared? It's 2021 as I'm speaking the words in this microphone. It's been, let's say, I talked to that guy who said, hey, check this out, blah, 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 around 2007, 2008 timeframe. And they're like, within 10 years, the whole Army is going to be switched over. I'm like, has it been 10 years? And the crazy thing is the 6.8 got everyone, and it's like anything else. A cartridge comes out and all the magazines write about it, right? And everyone gets all excited about it. And then 5 years later, we're just moved on to the next thing. I would say, Zach, how much do you know about 6.8 SPC?
Nothing.
Exactly. And most people of your age probably, Or they'll encounter it and they're like, hey, it's a new cartridge. Did you hear about this new cartridge called the 6.8? Yeah, 14 years ago. It actually was in development between 2002 and 2004. But I digress. And I don't even know how much that stuff's going for. Here's the thing. People are putting it in black rifles, and then they realize they're like, holy crap, it's like twice the cost of 5.56. So it's not a practice round. It's not a go to the range and, just.
It's like if you're going to be hunting, then use it.
If you're going to put it into living things, then go crazy. All right, that is that. Cat in the Hat, and that be that. Duracoat Finish Firearm of the Week. Make sure that you go over there occasionally, once in a while. I don't know. Tell them that you still care. Say, hey, we
if
still
I
care.
wanted to replicate that rifle, could I find that pattern and everything on DuracoatFirearmFinishes.com?
Yep.
Cool. And it's called Winter Twig.
Winter Twig. That's right. And the Dura Hunter.
There's a link right there for you.
Oh, look at that.
Because I'm awesome.
So open up the show notes and just dive right in. All right. Moving on. So what is the next thing we need to talk about? Well, the next thing we need to talk about, I guess, is our friends over at Crossbreed Holsters, because they're doing good stuff. And matter of fact, they are
cranking them out.
So much good stuff. If you haven't checked out their website lately, you really should. They've got new shirts. They've got the new Rogue holster, which I'm surprised they came out with it as fast as they did, because we saw a proto like a month ago. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's live.
Oh, it's live now?
Oh, it's live. It's for sale. It's on the website.
Missed that.
Yeah, it's available now. The new Rogue holster. It's pretty slick, and it's available right now. So get over there. And they got the Wolverine posed for pictures. He's got even a new shirt. He's got a Crossbreed camo shirt. So they got camo shirts. They have Crossbreed Freedom shirts. And then, of course, they have the original Super Tuck Deluxe, which is the OG of holsters. It's the OG of hybrid holsters. Okay, the Super Tuck Deluxe is. They got a lot of good stuff. It's an American-made company, made by Americans in Missouri. And so I want you guys to acknowledge them. And if you need a new holster, get your butt over to crossbreedholsters.com and check those guys out. All right, moving on. Oh, before we go, here we go. All right, I went to ammoseek.com, and I was able to find, you've got foreign import, Cellier and Belot, Privy Partisan. Yep. So if you want to buy foreign import ammo, you can get SPC for 84 cents a shot. And all the American mades, the Remington's all like $1.05, $1.06 a shot. I don't see any Hornady. Here we go. A Winchester, $1.14 per shot. Yeah. So long story short, this is not I want to go to a training class, so I'm going to load up my SPC and take it to this training class. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but 500 rounds of SPC is $500, basically. There you go. Speaking of stuff, you can get the SPC at Brownells. I just looked. You can get it at Brownells. And you can get a lot of stuff at Brownells. You can get their new super cool Dixon flannel shirts, which I'm hoping that Santa Claus will bring me. I don't know. Santa Claus going to bring me one of those? We'll see. Hint, hint, Roy. I haven't. That person is the bearded one's been radio silent. I think the bearded one's just busy, but he's been radio silent.
A lot of stuff to do.
Hey, wink and a nod. Oh, but yeah, you can get ammo, you can get magazines, you can get guns, you can get all kinds of stuff at brownells.com, a family-owned business, and serious about firearms since 1939. All right, Jared. Woo! What were we talking about yesterday? About the month being almost over already?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. If you're not involved in the giveaway yet for STS Imports giveaway of the month, we're doing one every single month. Go to SOTGgiveaway.com. And I'm going to go there right now because I don't remember what the gun is this month.
It's a shotgun.
December STS Imports giveaway. Yeah, here we go. SLB X3 HD shotgun.
Indubitably.
You click the button. It says click here to enter now. And there you go. Boom. That's easy.
You know what's funny? We did the shower gun thing, right? And I just did that kind of as a lark because the orange box that I had bought, the weatherproof marine box there, I didn't buy that specifically for a shower gun. I actually bought it to store radio gear in. But I was looking at it. It was on the table right there, and the table's not there anymore. But it was on the table, and I thought, I wonder, could I fit a High Point C9 in there? And the answer is yes, I could fit a High Point C9 in there. And so I thought, well, let's do it. So we did it. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you obviously are not paying close enough attention. We just did a whole big thing about home invasions and shower guns. There's a video out. We did a discussion on the radio show. If you haven't watched the video yet, you can, you could, you should. It's there. And that is all courtesy of our friends at High Point. And they shared the shower gun thing, the pictures and so forth. And it was interesting to me how many people in the world who have computers are completely oblivious. Oh, kids, just kids today. I don't know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to be quiet and you, as the listener, to perk up your ears and listen louder.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
All right. Yeah, that's what you should do. Jared, you have anything else to say about that?
No, I was just thinking in my head, and you couldn't hear me thinking. I know that, but I was thinking that was Bogglesworth who did that. I was trying to figure out who did that riff there.
Yeah, Bogglesworth. It's funny that our listener mentioned the 6.5 Grendel because the 6.5 Grendel and the 6.8 SPC are very close.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Very close. And people are always comparing the two to each other. The 6.8 shoots if you're wondering, it shoots a .277 caliber bullet, the same as the 270 Winchester. So there you go. All right, moving on. We got a story.
Was the new or the no radio thing, was that in Detroit specifically, or where was that?
No, New York City.
Oh, New York City. Okay.
Now it may have been in Detroit too, and Chicago maybe, but the big one, I remember this because they used to film a lot of police dramas and detective dramas and so on and so forth in the 60s, 70s, especially 70s and 80s. There were two places that they filmed cop dramas, New York and San Francisco. The streets of San Francisco, and then you had Hill Street Blues, which was supposed to take place, and they filmed them. Okay, they were all filmed in Hollywood, but they did the street scenes and the so forth. Like they would go. You know how that works, right, guys? They film all of the studio stuff in Hollywood, and then twice a year they actually travel to the city and they put the actors out on the street and they shoot scenes with the actors on the street, and they have them walk by bridges and buildings and stuff so that there's the illusion that they're in Chicago or New York or whatever. So back in this became popular in the 70s, and I guess carried on through the 80s. In New York, crime was so bad before Giuliani. Before Giuliani took over New York, crime was so bad that people who had cars would get cars with no radios, because the big thing for street thugs to steal was not only hubcaps, but car radios. Because you used to be able to just take a screwdriver, a giant flathead screwdriver, and crank a stereo out and then sell it for $15 or $20 or whatever. Because car manufacturers back in the old days said, you know what? Let's make all of our radios universal so that the end user can upgrade as they can go to the Jensen store and they can upgrade and get a new car stereo. And that was a really big thing in the 80s, maybe in the 90s, but I know in the 80s when I was coming up, when you got a car, when you were a teenager and you got a car from your parents, you bought somebody's grandmother's car, right? The first thing you did is you went somewhere. You went to the guy who you knew who had replaced a radio. Mm-hmm. You went to the guy who you knew had replaced a radio or change. He's like, "Oh, I can do that. I'll $20 and I'll swap the radio out for you." And you're like, "Okay, man." And it was crazy. Speakers wouldn't be hooked up. Everything should be all kinds of messed up. But you could do that, and you used to be able. Jared, do you remember going into places like Walmart where they had the car stereo section?
I think they still do, actually.
Not really.
They still sell cassette converters, all right? I can guarantee they still have a couple.
I'm pretty sure they
radios.
still have a car radio section, at least with speakers in it. Maybe not.
No. Yes, they used to.
It might
have
be very small, but
an entire wall filled with car stereos.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
And then you had speakers on the side in sets. And then you had the car, there was like at least a dozen, 20, 30 different car stereos from every maker of car stereo. And you get the one for the $29 one all the way up to the $189 one and everything in between. And the reason you were able to do that was because all the stereo inputs and all the radio inputs in all cars were identical, universal. They all agreed. They're like, here's what we're going to do. The rectangle is going to be 2.5 inches by 8 inches or whatever the heck it was. Well, that made it really easy for criminals to steal car radios because they just go in there with a big flathead screwdriver and steal it, pull it out, yank it out, unhook the wires, and run off with it, right? Then they started making the removable face radios. And you old guys, all the old guys in the Discord now are like, yes, I remember that. When they came out with Pioneer and Jensen, they're like, here's the new thing. You don't have to worry about your radio being stolen because you can hit a button and pull the face off.
That's right, yeah.
And take it with you.
I remember
so if somebody
those.
looks in your car, there's a stereo there, but it has no face. So there's no point in them stealing it because they don't have the control panel. You take the control panel with you.
So that design was made because of thieves?
Absolutely.
Man,
it was that
because
design was driven by crime.
That's crazy because it became standard.
It was driven by crime. Well, now we're in 2021 and all of this is ancient history. You're like, what are you talking about? You can't take the radio out of your car. It's part of the console. And every single radio and every single console is different. If you look like the console in yours is different than the one that's in my truck, it's different than the one that's in Zach's car. Totally different. They're all totally different. So stealing car radios isn't a thing anymore. Used to be, though. And in New York, during the height, if you guys ever watch, you can watch Hill Street Blues Now, obviously, Hollywood exaggerates things, and it's not 100%, but it's pretty freaking close. The Warriors, the movie The Warriors, come out and play. And you know who that guy was? That guy who said Warriors. That's a very famous scene. That's been ripped off 100 times.
Yeah, and so
that was
I know what you're talking about when you do the hand thing, but I bet a lot of people don't because he had all the bottles on his fingers.
He had the bottles on his fingers.
Yeah.
So you know who that guy was?
Bobby Hill. He's calling you right now.
Bobby Hill's calling me right now. No, that's the guy that Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
Yes, we heard
that. That's the guy that Schwarzenegger dropped off the cliff in Commando.
That's what I get for not.
That was Sully.
Do not disturb.
He said,
"No
Sully,
way, no, it wasn't."
You know how I said I would kill you last? Yeah, you did. I lied. Hurry up, Sully. This is my weak arm.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that was Sully. He's the one. He was at, and he deserved to be. Let's face it, he deserved to be dropped off a cliff. But if you watch those old shows, the Warriors, Hill Street Blues, whatever, and they would even go to New York and they would film street scenes, and you would see cars parked on the street with black and white signs on the dash that said no radio. Why did they do that?
So people wouldn't steal them?
Because they would smash your window, open the door, climb in, and steal your car radio. And so in order to not get their window smashed, people in New York, if they parked on the street or in a public garage or whatever, would drive around in cars with no radios on purpose, because they were so afraid. It was so prevalent that they got to the point where people were, and they sold them. You could go into a store and you could get a white cardboard sign with black letters that said no radio to put on your dash, to hopefully the thugs could read and they would take the time to look before they smashed your window out. And we talked about this. We talked about how pathetic that is, and how when you are ordering your life based upon criminal behavior, when you allow criminal behavior to cause you to alter and order your life, that's not a good thing. You're like, well, if you don't want your car stereo stolen, then you need to buy one that has a removable face that every time you get out of the car, you have to take it with you. You're like, wow, that's how you want to live your life? And what's sad, Jared, is that people who lived in these cities, they get conditioned to believe that that's just how the world is. That's not how the world is.
Well, when you live in, if you base your perception of reality off of your daily life, then I could totally understand that.
Yeah, people people who lived in New York, Chicago, downtown Detroit, and so on, that's how you thought the world was.
Yeah. Well, and that's like I met people down there in Biloxi, Mississippi, that had never left the county that they lived in their entire life. And so their view of the world is very narrow because they haven't ever been outside of it.
Oh,
it's like, well, what happens here happens everywhere. It's like, no, that's not really the case.
Okay. I'm sorry. I saw the questions just dropped in. So let's talk about the new story. So that was way back in the 70s and 80s. As much crap as that's why the mainstream media doesn't like Giuliani, because he was a Republican and he did good things, and he did things that affected their criminal masses. And let's face it, the media loves criminals. They're their favorite thing. Criminals and terrorists. Giuliani cleaned up New York. Now New York is a shooting gallery again. And who's in charge? Who's been in charge of? Democrats have been in charge of New York for the last 10 years, maybe 15 years. Let's go out to the West Coast to the PRK.
Perk.
And this is not a story from 1976 or 78 or 81. This is a story from December 16th, 2021.
Please do not break glass. San Franciscans leaving car trunks open to prevent smash and grab.
First of all, I kind of don't understand how leaving your trunk open.
Because you can get to the trunk from the back seats. So people smash the glass, open the back seats.
Wow. Is that what they're doing? They're taking the time to climb into the car, into the back seat, pull the back seat, and that doesn't make any sense to me. But okay.
Well, you could
You're
say,
also not a robber. It's like...
Yeah, but I was a cop, and I know that,
I know.
criminals don't get into a car and spend 10 minutes there.
Yeah.
If they can't get in and out in 1 minute, they're not going to do it.
Well, Dad, here's the thing, is that you are equating your experience of where criminals were actually a little bit afraid of being arrested with California, where they're like, darn, all right, I'll be back in 20 minutes to finish this up.
I guess that's true. In California, they're not afraid of being caught or arrested anymore.
Yeah. In the robbery-infested areas of San Francisco and Oakland, California, some residents are so fearful of having their cars broken into that they are deliberately leaving their car trunks open so robbers won't shatter the windows. That's crazy. So anyway. It says, quote, "We see the aftermath of car break-ins all too often, windows smashed, glass shattered, but now some people are getting so fed up that they're leaving their trunks open, hoping that it will at least spare them the hefty bill to get it fixed." That's from ABC7. People have been have even posted signs on their cars begging, "Please use the door," or "Please do not break the glass, nothing inside." It's crazy. One witness seeing a trunk left wide open, posting on social media, "Imagine having to clean out your car and leaving it open in public just so people won't break your windows." It says, "Oakland, we are looking sad, man." Yeah. Oakland Deputy Interim Police Chief Drennan Lindsay apprised that people were leaving their trunks open, and he admitted that it doesn't really surprise me. Well, we just heard from was it the sheriff?
It was the chief of police in San Francisco. That said cooperate. Make sure you cooperate with the criminals when they're robbing you.
Former deputy San Francisco Former deputy San Francisco deputy police officer Garrett Tom, I don't know what that was supposed to say, but okay, who spent nearly 40 years on the police force, said that he had never seen anything like it, commenting that leaving trunks open was an invitation or disaster, adding they could steal your batteries or go into your glove compartment, find out where you live. If you leave their trunk open, some cars, depending on what kind of car you have, you can still get inside the interior. Yeah, most cars you can now.
Most cars. Well, all cars if you push hard enough.
Yeah. San Francisco
seriously,
PD
if you get
has
into
reported
a
that
trunk, and have you ever done that? Like been loading luggage or cleaning out your trunk, and you look, you can see the back of the back seat.
The last time I had a trunk was never.
Yeah. Actually. So if you have an SUV, okay, this is like
yeah. What do you do then? Just leave the hatch open?
Just leave the hatch unlocked? Leave your windows down?
I guess you would just leave the whole thing unlocked. Oh yeah, actually that's a good point. Like just leave the freaking windows down.
Hope it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
And hope a bird doesn't fly in and poop all over your car.
Yeah, we're not telling Jeff about that.
Why wouldn't you leave a sign on there that says, sorry, Zach, you just completely distracted me. Like,
why wouldn't no birds?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you leave a sign on there that says, beware of Claymore or something like that?
You put a cougar in there.
Yeah, put a cougar
in there.
Just put some birds in there and you're fine.
I trapped it. How'd you get that cougar in there? I trapped it. Let me tell you what, you can learn to drive with the fear. There's nothing more frightening. I'm trying to cut it because there's so many cuss words in that. And having a live cougar in the car with you.
Now this is interesting. San Francisco PD has reported that 2021 has seen a 32% increase in car break-ins.
What have we said?
5%. Well, yeah, you can't really say that anymore though, because now we're constantly seeing these high numbers.
In like a sane world. In the same world, high. A 5% increase in a particular crime is considered a cause for concern. Like if bank robberies or pickpockeets or rapes or anything was up 5% from one year to the next, it would be cause for concern.
Yeah.
In a sane world.
32% increase in car break-ins, 25% increase in auto burglaries, and 27% increase in both categories.
Awesome sauce. Oh.
There's a bunch more to the story, but it's pretty much all of it.
A family visiting San Francisco had their car broken in, their belongings stolen, yada, yada, yada. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess the big question we need to ask ourselves is, does compliance lead to liberty? Does compliance lead to freedom? Does compliance lead to, is it a solution? All right, let's go back to super simple basics. Anybody who's ever been a parent, and, well, maybe you did this right, maybe you did it wrong. If you got a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old or whatever, and they throw a tantrum in public, and you calm their tantrum by giving them whatever.
That's what I like to do. I like to give her a cookie or ice cream. She's crying. You just, here you go, baby.
A cookie.
Take some ice cream.
Candy, promise of whatever. They want the toy, and you said no, and now they're on the ground throwing a fit, screaming in public. And so you say, okay, I'll just buy you the toy. Just stop. And then they stop. Unless you're an imbecile, what you just did, what you should know that you just did, if your kid throws a fit in public, and in order to stop the fit, you reward them. You reward the behavior with cookie, candy, toy, whatever it is they want. You just guaranteed that is going to happen again and more frequently. Oh, no, it won't, Paul. You're not a child psychologist. I might not be a child psychologist, but I'm a student of the world, and I raised 3 kids. And let me tell you what, complying with criminals is not going to make the criminals stop. Well, that doesn't say that they're going to make them stop, Paul. It just says that then now they won't have to replace broken windows. They'll just have to replace stolen property. So your solution to the crime problem is to make it easier for the criminals to commit the crimes. And what that's going to do is that's going to reduce the number of criminals. Is that going to reduce the number of criminals, or is it going to increase the number and frequency of crime?
Definitely reduce.
Definitely reduce.
100%.
See, they'll get, if they don't have to break your windows and they just open the door, then they'll just get bored with it, and then they'll stop and they'll go get jobs. Kids. You're like, well, what do you want people to do? I don't know. Maybe stop voting for Democrats, you morons. Well, there's nothing we can do in California. It's a one-party system, and we just have to do what we're told. I don't know. You made this bed. Now you're going to have to sleep in it, I guess. You idiots in the PRK. And this all makes for great news stories. Oh, here we go, Jared. Did you go down to the Libs of TikTok Twitter thing?
Yeah.
So that's your answer. The answer is, all right, here's the answer. When we said trunks, when we said the word trunk, we were thinking sedan. We're thinking Chrysler, Lincoln, sedan with a traditional trunk, yada, 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 right? That's what we're thinking. When the news people are saying trunk, they don't mean trunk. They mean the hatchback. There's pictures in this story of SUVs parked on the street with the...
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay.
With the hatches hanging open on purpose, deliberately. See, you and I, we're thinking, a Delta 88 with that you can put 3 bodies in the trunk kind of a thing, that when they say trunk, they actually mean the hatchback of a Cub.
If you live in one of these areas and you're listening to us, it's up to you to fix this stuff. Like you've got to police your own community.
You've got to form a citizens vigilance committee.
Well, but also there's things you can't just check out from what's going on in your local area. You can't just work your 9 to 5 and then come home and watch TV. You've got to get involved in what is going on in your local government, your county government, your state government. You've got to be involved in that stuff. And I believe that the reason that a lot of this stuff is happening, or this is a direct result of good people not being involved in their community.
Well, it's also a direct result of the 911. It's not my responsibility. I don't have to. Someone else will. I mean, that is PRK in a nutshell. All the problems of the world should be fixed by a government entity. That's why we pay taxes. We pay taxes so they can fix all this and make everything better and da 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 da. But what does an intelligent person understand? They're like, yeah, I got a question for you. Speaking of taxes, are the people of San Francisco receiving refunds from the government for their failure and ineptitude? You're like, what are you talking about, man?
Maybe. Speaking of questions,
they're not.
We have two questions.
They're not.
Are you ready for the questions?
I guess so, yeah.
All right, yeah, because we're running up on the end of the show. So the
Are
first
we
question
really?
is, yes, I would like to know if y'all are familiar with the 308 Norma Magnum rifle, my elk hunting rifle, if you don't mind. Are you familiar with that?
I know that it exists.
You don't have any experience shooting it?
I've never shot a 308 Norma.
Okay.
And I don't own one. So I know they exist, and they probably will kill an elk. So there you go.
And that was from Robin S. If you place a 308 round correctly, I'm sure that it'll do its job.
Yep.
Frank, this is how you get a question asked in the show. That's what I'm talking about right there. He says, regarding the PX9 Gen 3 brought to us by SDS Imports, are regular XD magazines compatible with this gun?
No. And if you watch the video, the video that I did.
Ooh, the vid. Look at that.
The magazines are actually, according to the manufacturer, they're SIG 226 pattern magazines.
What's the video called?
It's called the PX9 Gen 3.
The official title of the video is the Zagana PX9 Gen 3 Duty Pistol from SDS Imports.
Perfect. I'm going to drop a link in here in the notes for you, Zach. If you would drop that in wherever Frank is watching, that'd be nice of you.
Yep. So, yeah, I know you say, well, if the frame and the slide fits XD holsters, why didn't they use XD magazines? I don't know. I didn't make the gun. But, yeah, they're, according to the manufacturer, they are 226 pattern magazines. But the neat thing is the standard 226 holds 15 rounds, and these hold 18.
Boom.
Boom.
What are you gonna need that many rounds for?
Yeah, you don't need that many rounds. Why would you ever need that many? You don't need more than 2. Yeah, there you go.
All right. So, if you got anything else?
No. What I was going to say, the Papa X-Ray 9er Gen 3 actually has. People are like, oh, well, if it's a foreign import, then you're never going to be able to get blank, 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 blank for it. You won't be able to get parts, sights, holsters, whatever. No, actually, that was a smart thing that they did, realizing that when they made it, they said, well, okay, aftermarket sights. There are more aftermarket sights for what gun, what pistol in America than any other. Jared, go.
The Glock?
The Glock 17.
Yeah.
That is.
I was like, is this a trick question, or is it really that straightforward?
No, it's not. And you can get XD holsters all day long, every day, twice on Sundays. And then, like I said, I actually did not take my own personal SIG 226 magazines and try and run them in that gun yet. I should do that. But yeah, you can get XDM holsters. If you don't like the sights, or you want to put tritium sights, if you want to put night vision sights on it, Speaking of which, I gave you a set of G17 sights to take home, right?
Yee.
Did you put those on a gun yet?
Not yet. I'm waiting on the ability to do that.
You're waiting on the ability?
Yeah, like I need the actual
opportunity
gun to put the sights
okay.
on. Yeah.
So I think that I have a set unboxed or unopened. Unboxed. Unopened.
I have a set of unopened sights.
I might have to do that. You say, well, yeah, but aren't the sights on it fine? Yeah, the sights on it are fine. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
Zach, I dropped a video that you can play at the end. Disclaimer for all of you guys that are watching. I don't know if there are swear words in this. I don't think there are. I don't remember there being, but Zach's going to play us out with this video. But before he does that, do me a favor and join the Discord server, studentofthegun.com/Discord. We live stream on there to everybody as of right now, the grad program also, and you can access quite a bit of the server without joining the grad program. So studentofthegun.com/Discord. Zach, whenever you're ready, go ahead and play us out with it.
Sorry, 1 second. It's 18. It was 8 minutes long, so I was like, how long should I have this for?
Oh, the video's 8 minutes.
Yeah, I'll just play the first bit because it's
okay.
prevalent to exactly what we're talking about.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And a 1, and a 2, and a unmute the site, and a 3.
The Trunk Monkey Theft Retrieval System. Because sometimes getting your car back is simply not enough. Another revolutionary idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group, pending approval by Department of Agriculture.
That's pretty funny.
Is that the one where the monkey jumps out with a tire iron and bashes him over in the noggin?
Oh,
Yeah,
right, you couldn't see it.
And he drops him into the...
And he throws him into a river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
That's what we need. The trunk monkey.
All right.
What are we?
Bleep, bleep, bleep. Beginners once, students for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.
And that was episode 1 for today. How long of a break do we want to take in between?
Let's take 10.
10 minutes.
And you know what's interesting about that trunk monkey?
You tell me.
Those ads are about 10 years old now.
Yeah.
But it was Huntington Beach Chrysler that produced those.
Oh, that's funny.
Where's Huntington Beach?
California.
The PRK. Yeah.
It's the home of the Huntington Beach bad boy.
That's right.
Tito.
Tito Ortiz. All right, I'll be back in 10. I've got 9:05, 9:15.
All right, guys, we will see you around 9:15. Send. Hello there.
Hello.
Boy, oh boy, how are you doing?
I'm great.
Good. I'm happy.
That's one of
to
my
hear
least
that.
favorite things in the world to do.
Is what?
That's one of my least favorite things in the world to do. Fewer things make me angrier than having to do that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. No. So, guys, we're a little bit late coming back.
Sorry, but we're back. Where's Jared though?
He's up his own ass.
Did he
does
acknowledge
that sometimes.
you?
But he sent a text saying, "Let me know when you're back," and I just texted him just now saying that we're back.
Yeah, you're back. Okay.
So I didn't. So
You
during
don't
the
have to
break-
talk about that on the
All right.
radio. So, but anywho, sir. Good news. While
Fuck
during
both of
the brief show notes
Yep.
during the show break, got a note from Nicholas Orr.
Yeah.
Those of you that don't know, the fiction writer extraordinaire, and he said that he has the proof copy of Book 5 of the Operator Book 5.
Awesome.
He has the final proof copy. So his message from me to you guys, to your ears, is that he will be approving the final edition of that, and it will be available for sale before Christmas. That is his promise to you.
We actually just got a possibly interesting thing to talk about from Nick Miller. Jared, you see that? Jared, look in the live stream comments.
A possibly interesting thing.
Work with me here. Jared,
Don't
look
commit.
Look in the comments and tell me if that's something you think we should talk about on the show.
A possibly interesting thing.
Well, not even interesting. It's just like possibly sad. But
Well, I don't want to talk about sad stuff.
it's not sad like a dead puppy, but it's like sad like a.
I don't want to talk about dead puppies.
Well, we're not going to. Although we might.
Well,
I
you
might
already
be
said
talk-
it,
I
so
might be talking
that's
about
there.
a dead puppy here in a couple minutes.
Yeah. Do 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 do.
They've never done that before. Never done that before.
Well, there you go. All right. So while we were on the break, I got my my workout breakdown, my coach's notes from my Barbell Logic coach for yesterday's workout.
Good.
Yeah, because yesterday I PR'd my bench. My bench workout yesterday was a PR.
Heard.
That's right. A press release. Why do we celebrate press releases? I don't. Those happen all the time. I don't no reason to celebrate them. We celebrate PRs. Like we do. So yeah, I posted Jared, and if you give a rat's fanny, I actually went into the Liberty Mastermind and I put my PR workout in there.
The Liberty Mastermind?
Yeah.
Oh, on Facebook.
Yeah. And I actually did it because I was hoping that people would, if they felt like it, would watch the video, because it was so cold in the gym that when I expelled my last breath after the third rep, you can see the steam. You can see the steam coming out of my mouth. Yeah. And Grant's like, well, at least you don't have to work out in a Planet Fitness. I was like, yep, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It could be worse.
They don't let us types in there.
Yeah. You're not allowed to make noise. Did you guys ever see the lunk alarm thing where a guy was in a Planet Fatness and he had like I don't know if it was a pen or a flashlight or something, and he goes, watch this. And he stood over and he opened his hand and it dropped and the thing went wah, 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 lunk alarm. Yeah.
Amazing.
Planet Fatness, where we don't judge you, except that we do. We don't judge people. We don't judge people who want to be fat and lazy. We only judge people that want to work really hard. That's who gets judged here. If you want to work really hard and make noise while you're lifting, we're not going to have any of that. Because your hard work makes people feel uncomfortable.
A wise man once said that it's not real weight until you poop yourself mid-rep.
That's right. If you've never, I've never shat myself, but I have.
While lifting or in general?
Well, like while lifting. I'm talking about lifting.
I know.
But I have like squatted down on like rep 2 and released gas, and then you're trapped.
Makes you do it. It's called motivation. That's self-motivation. Is what that is.
Yeah, it makes you do a hardcore Valsalva.
That's funny.
Because when that first happened to me, I said, Matt, did you ever like do that? And he goes, oh, dude, he goes, I've actually shit myself in the squat rack.
He talks about that on the show.
Not a lot, but you know,
a little bit.
That's right. So when you get to a certain level, you absolutely have to take your pre-workout dump. Yeah. You cannot get into the rack thinking, maybe I'll crap after I'm done working out. No. I've actually I've held vomit in my mouth.
Oof.
And if
you ever done that?
No. That's coming out of my mouth.
No, I've had that.
What's up, Zach?
All right. Is there any more bodily excretion talk we want to cover before we start the next episode?
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys that are watching.
You ever had the world close in on you and almost pass out?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in general, I've had that, but not while lifting.
While lifting, I've done the last rep on a squat or the last rep on a deadlift, and had the walls start moving in. The darkness comes in, and I'm like, whoa, that's it, last one.
My butthole exploded from lifting, but that's a different thing. All right,
Let's
go ahead and start the next episode.
In 3, 2.
Wrong. I do the count. Dad, you can go ahead and get us started. In
you don't say cut, I say cut.
3, 2, 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Black Rifle Christmas and Python Challenge. What? Yeah, it's a thing. These pythons right here, these pythons, you can't see them, but they're there. I've been working on these pythons here. Yeah. Your poor mother. After I do a heavy workout and I'm proud of myself, I strut around with no shirt on, and she's like, just go take your shower. We got a Brownell's bullet points for you guys. We got a Student of the Gun homeroom for you guys. And then we're going to talk about the Python Challenge. All that on today's glorious episode of Student of the Gun Radio.
Welcome to Student of the Gun Radio, proudly brought to you from the SDS Imports studio. If you want quality that's affordable, visit sdsimports.com. We don't just talk guns and gear, we also discuss current events and politics, because guns are politics. Now sit back and listen louder to your co-host, CEO of Full 30, Jared Markle, and your beloved host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Hey, Jared, you're familiar with the coffee roasting game, right? You're familiar with the coffee roasting game.
Relatively.
So if you had Ethiopian beans are good beans.
Mm-hmm.
Would you roast them as a light, a medium, or a dark?
I don't know the answer to that question. Depends on what you like to drink.
Yeah.
Most Ethiopians that I've enjoyed drinking have been light roasts.
Really?
Yes. Although I'm not really light roast fan.
Yeah.
But the Ethiopian light roasts have been delicious.
See, your mom's not a fan of light roast. If the bean is a flat dark earth or or a coyote, it needs to be that oily brown mahogany. If you get the oily brown mahogany color, that's just about perfect. your mom received a gift of Ethiopian coffee beans for Christmas, but they were roasted medium. And she's like,
Oh yeah, has she tried them yet?
yeah,
Oh, she didn't like it. Dang.
no.
Yeah, there was one specifically at a restaurant here called Table X in Salt Lake that they had a light roast Ethiopian blend. It was very good.
I suppose you could. I guess it depends, but the ones that we like the best are the fire roasted. When we did the mountain fire roasted coffee, and it comes out that oily mahogany color, that to me is perfect.
Oh, I think I messed up. I have a question.
What's that?
Did you get a sample pack of Student of the Gun blend coffee to try?
No, I didn't even know that was a thing anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. So we sent some to our both of our Matt friends, our Scott friend. A few people got them, and then I sent one here to the office. But I totally didn't send one to you. I got to get one sent to you.
Well, you might as well hold on to it because we're going to be face to face soon.
Yeah,
if it's there.
No, it's not here.
Oh,
it's got to be shipped from the roaster.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
So yeah, I just realized that. I'm like, man, I don't think he got because it was very good. It was a very good roast. It was like a medium to dark, like a 7 out of 10 on the scale.
Yeah, yeah.
And
that's the thing that we have not done really since we've been back. We haven't done the fire roasted coffee. I'm gonna have to ask Santa Claus to bring me a fire pit.
Can't you do it in your? You can't do it in your thing.
What thing?
You don't want to roast coffee beans in your house?
In the kitchen?
Yeah.
Zach, do we want to roast the coffee beans?
Not in the kitchen. In the downstairs where the wood burning stove is.
That's inside of the house.
I know. But it has a vent to the outside.
No. Zach, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Would you recommend roasting coffee beans on the range in your kitchen?
I would not recommend doing that at all. Sounds like a terrible idea, in fact.
Do you like burnt popcorn smell?
Nah.
Would you like your whole house to smell like burnt popcorn? Would you?
Especially my house, where it's like freaking that we have terrible air circulation here.
Oh,
so it's like if I freaking put a little bit too much olive oil in the freaking pan, the smoke detector will go off in the hallway 25 feet away. And we can't keep the windows open because we don't have the screens. Bugs will fly in, and now in the winter it'll be cold. So yeah.
All right. Well, enough coffee talk. Q's and A's. You got Q's, we got A's. Put them in there. But let's go ahead and jump into our Brownells bullet points of the week.
PvP.
All right, bing, bang, boom. It is the Brownells bullet points of the week, brought to you by Brownells. And today's subject is Black Rifle Christmas. What? Black Rifle Christmas. Right now, you say, well, if I order this, I probably won't get it by Christmas. That's okay. If you go to the Brownells homepage, there's a decorative little festive, what would you call that? Window or whatever? What do you call the rotating ad screen? The shuffling ad screen.
I don't know what you're looking at.
If you go to brownells.com.
Oh, a slider?
Yeah, the slider.
Yeah, okay.
That's called the slider?
Yeah.
Well, there's a slider image, and it's a decorative, and it says, Chris, Black Rifle Christmas, shop now. And this is when I say, okay, I will do that. And what do they have? Well, they have something actually interesting that I did not know that they had in stock, and that is laser engraved PMags.
Like custom?
Yeah, well, you can buy them off the shelf from them. They're laser engraved.
No, but I mean a custom laser engraved, or they have a design?
They have a design on them.
Oh, okay. I was like, how do they do that?
No, they have designs on them already. They got one that says "Don't tread on me." They got a "Don't tread" snake one. They've got one that says "This is come and take it." Moulin Labe.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
One. Then they have one that's actually I don't need because I know how to count. I don't need an AR-15 magazine with a window in it. But this is actually a funny one. Can you see the empty full one, the last one? So they took a window, a PMag with a window, and they put the empty halfway full gas gauge thing in it. You can open it and look at it.
It's not on.
It's the bottom one. It's the bottom one. It says fuel level, AR-15 fuel level magazine. It's actually kind of cute. If you were looking for a gift for somebody with a black rifle,
cool.
It's kind of cute. They still have the Magpul sweaters and beanies on sale, but they're going fast. Oh, I spoke too soon. Sweaters are out of stock, but they still have the beanies in stock, so you can get yourself a beanie. A Magpul ugly Christmas beanie, if you want one of those. They got them in stock. They sold out of the Christmas sweaters. We sold them out of the Christmas sweaters by talking about them 2 weeks ago. And then, of course, they have all the other stuff that you would expect. They have pieces, parts. They've got trigger assemblies and optics and all the good stuff that you would want to go in, on, and around your gun. Because why? Because they're Brownells, man, and they've been serious about firearms since 1939. And then, of course, they have the Dixon Big Iron flannel shirts if you want to be warm and cool at the same time. You want to be cool while you're warm? Get one of those. So check it out. I've got stuff in my cart.
Hashtag juxtaposition.
I actually have stuff in my cart.
I do too. I have 2 things in there.
In your Brownells cart?
Yeah.
Oh. That's
I didn't check out on those. Dang it.
Yeah, that's why they haven't showed up yet.
They're out of stock now too. Dang it.
Yeah, that'll happen if you just throw stuff into a cart and then forget to check out, and then come back a week later, somebody else bought them all.
I know they were sending me emails to the email address that I haven't checked.
You're like, mother lover.
Like, dang it.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's your Brownells Black Rifle Christmas discussion for the week. And check those guys out. And if you'd like to be notified when they have new stuff in stock, you can text BRN to 556-223. And they will send you, not often, but occasionally, they will send you a text message to remind you. All right, Duracoat. Why? Why Duracoat?
Because life is too short to have an ugly gun.
Life is too short to have an ugly gun. He said he was going to be back. I don't know where he's going, but hope he's not going too far away. SDS Imports are giving it away. Jared, how can people get involved in the SDS Imports giveaway?
Super easy. Go to SOTGgiveaway.com. All of the information is on the page. There's a blue button that you click, and it says, click here to enter now. You click it, and then it asks for the information so that we can contact you and get you the stuff that you need.
Yes. And speaking of Sierra Delta Sierra Imports, if you have not been paying attention, you're like, wow, I've kind of checked out for a week or so, but I'm back. Well, they have a brand new product. It's called the PX9 Generation 3, the Gen 3. You're like, okay, they had a 1 and a 2. What's the big deal with the 3? Well, the 3 is kind of a BFD because A, they removed the thumb safety. Say they don't have that anymore. It has basically a quintessential striker-fired trigger. The same kind of striker-fired triggers that G-Locks have, that Canics have, that M&Ps have, that all that. It's got the little safety lever, and it's red, so you can see it. You can get a duty gun with a threaded barrel, or you can get one without a threaded barrel. All of the guns come with an RMR sight cut, an optic cut. So atop of the slide, there's a little cover plate, and if you take that little cover plate off, it is set up for the Trijicon RMR footprint. And if you know anything about mini red dots, there are several, in addition to the Trijicon red dots. One of the most popular ones, of course, is the Hollow Sun, that are, I have identical footprint. A footprint is basically the base. The sights are Glock 17. So if you don't like the sights that you get, you want to put tritiums on, go to nightvision.com. Get yourself some Student of the Gun Accurate sights. You can do that. Super simple. The Glock installation, Glock sight installation is probably the easiest sight installation on the planet. There's a lot that my what I'm going to tell you guys. Oh, and these come in black, FDE, and OD green. So they've really gone BANANAS bananas. Ooh, I said bananas.
I'm back by
They've
the way.
gone bananas with the Gen 3s. So it's a lot of gun for not very much money, a lot of custom features. So get them while the getting's good from a local dealer or distributor near you. There you go. And we did I did an article and a video review. So if you haven't seen that yet, you should. And also, if you haven't seen the High Point C9 shower gun video, you should watch that. Take the time to do that. And that brings us right up to our Wednesday segment where I'm quiet and Zach talks to you.
ShopSOTG.com is the perfect place to go if you are a student of the gun. Whether you want to expand your brain, increase your marksmanship, or help keep your family safe. All that, plus the pimp hand brands that you love. ShopSOTG.com has almost anything that an American patriot would want. Education, enlightenment, and entertainment, and we're open 24/7. Check out ShopSOTG.com today and see for yourself.
Yes, indeed. That's what you can do. That's what you should do. Indeed. All right, let us move into, I guess, unless you guys have something else to say. Do you boys have something else to say?
No.
I got something to say. It's time for Student of the Gun Homeroom, brought to you by CrossbreedHolsters.com. Yeah. Oh, and just in case I haven't mentioned it lately, that intro music is Dangerous by a little band called Madison Rising. And yes, we did get the permission to use it. All right, Student of the Gun Homeroom by Crossbreed Holsters. If you go to crossbreedholsters.com, use the promotional code SOTG, you will save money and get a high-quality product. That is the deal we will make with you. Got a story from Louder with Crowder. And a lot of stories from Crowder right now. And the guy whoever it is, the mystery man that writes his stories is named Brodigan. And Brodigan is just a wee bit sarcastic. And if you don't understand sarcasm, you won't get it. But if you speak sarcasm, then you will appreciate it. But this is an effed up story, but that's the world we live in. That is the world we live in. Recently, had some people, I don't know how these people get there. I mean, I guess I do. Jared, do you ever go to the NPR or the ACLU or the Democrat Party? Do you go to liberal, Democrat, communist Facebook pages and type in paragraph-long comments on their stories and stuff?
Nope.
Neither do I.
I tend to spend my time in real life.
I don't even know what those are or where they are. Like if you said, well, which one should you, I was like, I don't know. But those people, you see, we're live and let die. We're live and let live over on our side. The other side is not. The other side seeks us out to tell us how stupid we are. And recently, somebody jumped in and said how it must be sad to be paranoid like us and think that you need to always have a gun on you like a crazy person, and it's paranoid lunatics like you that are dangerous, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yep, I'm just going to sit over here paranoid with my gun on while you tell me how this story is okay, liberal crap bag. Go ahead.
Chicago dad beaten to death while hanging up Christmas lights with his daughter. Jose Tellez was enjoying a Saturday afternoon, decorating his house for Christmas with his daughter. The day ended with Tellez becoming another statistic in Chicago violence. 2 men jumped out of a car and bludgeoned him in the head with unknown blunt objects before taking off. You read tragic stories, and there are lines that stick with you. The Chicago Sun-Times wrote about Tellez's neighbor hearing his daughter scream. When the neighbor ran across the street, she saw Tellez bleeding from the head, quote, with Christmas lights still clutched in his hand. No suspects have been arrested as of this writing. No motive for the murder is known either. There has been a rise in violence in liberal-run cities this year. Violence in Chicago is, unfortunately, nothing new. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot recently spoke out that local businesses should be doing more to prevent people from committing crimes against them.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year. Yeah, but if you do something to prevent the people, then
you become the criminal.
Earlier in the year, she pushed for a policy that would have police need to ask a suspect for permission to chase them.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I'm sorry. What?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They that was part of the all police are bastards or all cops are bastards movement and defund the police movement. Part of that movement was to remove the pursuit policy, to make it illegal, unlawful, to make it a policy that, because when cops chase criminals, that just leads to people getting hurt. We need to make the cops not chase them.
So I'm presuming that they need permission from a higher up, not from the suspect, right? I'm reading this now, but it's like it can't be so dumb that the cop needs permission from the suspect. It's got to be like, hey, blah blah blah. I need permission.
No, they would, under her policy reform, I opened up the story, would force cops to get permission. So let's say you're a police officer and you see a crime, you see somebody do something, or you're in your patrol car and you witness it, and they take off running or they take off driving away. According to her police accountability task force, she wants you to get on the radio and contact a supervisor and ask the supervisor if it's okay, if you have permission to pursue the suspect that you just witnessed committing the crime. Because she wants you, who just saw what happened, to get on the radio and contact somebody who's not there, right? Who didn't see what happened, and ask them if you can go ahead and do that. Who is in a better position to make that judgment call?
The person that's there.
The person that's actually watching stuff or a guy sitting in a police station or in a cruiser 10 miles away.
And if it takes 10 seconds to acquire permission, you probably lost the person.
10 seconds is fast. Yeah, you're like, well, but that if it saves lives, Paul, then it's worth it. Yeah, because criminals are the ones we're worried about.
No, you're the downside of this that hasn't been talked about in any of these stories that I just read about this permission thing is that you're literally removing the critical thinking skills from the police officer. And what does that do in the long term? If police officers are not required to think and use their critical thinking skills, then they're going to go away and they will no longer have them.
Well, what you'll have is people who don't have those.
That don't think.
The people who do, and we've been talking about this for years. What did Rush Limbaugh, the sainted Rush Limbaugh, tell us? What does liberalism generate? The exact opposite of its stated intent. So they say, well, we want good cops. We want to vet our cops. We want to make sure that our agencies are filled with the best people imaginable. Well, actually, no, because the best people imaginable, the people that are mature and that can think and make sound decisions, when you treat them like babies, or when you handicap them, or when you tell them through your actions that, when you tell a cop through your actions, like, here's the deal, cop, officer, no matter what you do, you're going to be wrong. if a citizen files a complaint against you, we're going to assume that you're wrong first until you prove yourself innocent. If a criminal complains about you, we will side with the criminal against you. No matter what you do, you're going to be wrong. This is what intelligent, self-starting, motivated people who can make decisions are going to do. They're going to say, F this, I'm mobile. They'll be like Dusty. They'll be like Simply Dusty. They'll be like, F this, I'm mobile.
God.
And they're going to leave. And the only people who are going to stay are the ones that are going to stay because, well, it's a good job and I get good benefits. So if I just sit in my car for 8 hours and play Tetris on my phone, do people do that anymore? Play Quasi Cupcakes on my phone.
Quasi Cupcakes.
I can still get my paycheck and my good benefits, and I just go park in the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot and play Quasi Cupcakes for 8 hours, and there you go. Until somebody calls me on the radio and says, go somewhere, and then I'll go there. And when I get there, but I'm not going to make any decisions when I get there, because if I make a decision, I'll be wrong. Those aren't the people that you want. And the liberals like, well, no, when you drive away the good people, you're like, are you trying to tell me that there are not good people who are police officers today? Yeah, that's what I'm going to tell you. I couldn't find the story, but I saw a video, and it was from New York City, and a woman, and the title was "Woman Arrested for trying to eat in a restaurant without a vax passport." Apparently, she didn't have the magic thing on her phone, right? And she went into the restaurant and they asked for it and she said she didn't have it. And they said, you have to leave. And she said, no, I want to eat. And they're like, well, so they called the Stasi and they sent 4 police officers in blue masks to arrest her and drag her out of the restaurant because she didn't have an app on her phone that said she got the experimental gene therapy. You say, what's your point, Paul? Those cops are no better than Gestapo. Oh, no, they're just enforcing a mandate. Okay, cops in my audience, when you became a cop and you were sworn in, did you raise your hand and swear to uphold the mandates of the criminal who currently sits on the throne of the city? Is that what you did? Well, I have to do it. It's my job. Do I have to be the guy to point out that there are literally, there's a mountain of corpses on planet Earth? There are hundreds of millions of dead people on planet Earth because people had that same attitude. Well, I didn't make the decision to kill these people. I didn't make the decision to put them in that camp. I didn't make the decision to go to their house and arrest them. And do you think the guys who went to the houses of the Jews at 3 a.m. and arrested them and put them on a truck, do you think they killed them? You're like, those guys didn't kill them. They just arrested them. They just did what they were told. They put them on a truck and then they went away. And
would that be an accessory to murder?
I don't know what happened to them. Once I arrest them and send them to the camp, I don't know what happens to them. It's not my fault. I'm just doing my job. And you say, how did we get there? I'll tell you how we got there. We got there because the people who inhabit these cities have not decided that they've had enough yet. The citizens who live in fill in the blank, New York, Chicago, whatever, LA, San Francisco, have not quite gotten to the point where they've had enough. Now, I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know how many more people have to be bludgeoned to death in the middle of the day. You think this guy here, you think he was taking the reasonable advice? I'm just going to be putting up Christmas lights on my house in the middle of the day. I'm not paranoid like you, Paul. I don't think I should have a gun on me like you. Because bad things only happen when, Jared?
At night.
At night and in bad neighborhoods. I don't care. I don't go to bad neighborhoods late at night. Like, I
mean, for all we know, this dude could have lived in a bad neighborhood.
I don't know. He lived in Chicagoland. He lived in Chicagoland. So there you go.
Yeah. I wonder, because there's not very many details on like what happened here.
Here's what we know. Middle of the day, dude outside with his kid hanging up Christmas lights. Thugs jump out, beat him to death. That's what we know. It's Chicago. So they're just gonna throw, and I suppose that somehow this is people who own guns in Indiana. It's their fault. Well, if you people in neighboring states didn't feel the need to own guns, then this wouldn't happen. Yeah, but they didn't use a gun to kill him. Facts don't matter. Shut up. I actually saw recently, and I don't know that it's not true. It was a meme. It said in the year, it was like 2019, 2,478 people died of complications of constipation, and 353 people died of rifles from being shot by rifles of any kind. So more people died of constipation than were shot. But we have to ban rifles. What are we doing about people's buttholes? We're not going to help them? No, if you die of that, that's okay. If you die of, how many women murdered their innocent babies in America? You see, that's the thing with the left. They only care about death when it helps push their agenda. If it doesn't push their agenda, they don't care about it. Speaking of death, you guys want to talk about killing? I saw this story, and it was like one of these obscure hunting websites about the Florida Python Challenge, and in the story it says Florida allows hunters to use shotguns to kill pythons, right? So that story was back in 2018. And so I did a little research and I found this one. And there's an actual website called the flpythonchallenge.org. And you can win prize money for whacking Burmese pythons. Now, I'm sure that the PETA people are not going to be happy about this, but I don't care. The Burmese python is an invasive species. They breed like crazy. They don't have any natural predators, really. And they're taking over the Everglades and the wildlife areas in Florida. So what Florida did is they came up with a program to encourage people to kill these mother lovers. And they this year they had a big challenge, and a dude got 10 grand
for 41 pythons
for killing 41. He was the number one dude.
The next highest was Donna Khalil with 19 pythons.
Yeah,
the dude killed double the amount.
That dude's good, man. I tell you what. And that's how you take care of a problem. But the thing that I saw here though is did you see the methods of kill and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
They don't want you to shoot them. You're like, what? How are you supposed to get them? Well, they want you to trap them. And then there's actually, if you go on here, there's a training thing, safe capture training and all this stuff. You're like, yeah, but I know pythons aren't poisonous, but if one of them bites you, isn't it going to hurt a lot? You're like, oh yeah. If it latches onto you, it's not going to feel good. You're like, well, why not just shoot it? Because we just can't have people shooting them. But what you are allowed to do is you're allowed to behead them. So here's my challenge to you guys. Our friends at Cold Steel Because in here it says one option is to behead them with a machete. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So that's when Paul jumped over to coldsteel.com and I'm trying to find it might be special projects. Help me out here. Because Cold Steel, unfortunately, they have,
here we go. I was just looking. It says humane methods for killing pythons.
Yeah, here we go.
Using a captive bolt, using an air gun, and decapitating the python. So those are the 3 ways that you can humanely kill the python.
So a captivated bolt, you know what that is? It's a slaughter gun.
Yeah.
It's a slaughter gun. That's
you
what they
go through the eyes or whatever.
That's where you. It's like that when you kill a bull, they walk them into the chute and they go, pow!
The stunner.
A bolt gun.
Yeah.
That's how if you find a skull and you know whether it was a natural kill or whether it was because it has a big crush hole right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's all baby town frolic. I got excited. I'm like, oh, machetes. Now you're speaking my language. So I went over to the Cold Steel website and they have a double-handed tie machete that is, how long is this son of a gun? It is, overall length is 36.5 inches. All right, so it's 36.5 inches. It has a long handle so you can put 2 hands on it. And I'm like, okay, now I'm with you. You see, I'm not interested in hunting pythons with an air gun. But if we can do and then they've got the Latin machetes with the hand guards. That's one thing I don't have is a Latin machete with the D-shaped hand guard, that looks like a cutlass. They got a 2-handed Latin machete. They've got the kukri one. We don't have one of those, do we, Jared? Do you have a Cold Steel machete at your house?
Yes.
Well, they have a Wasaki. Which looks like a samurai sword. If you guys are in Florida, I'm assuming they're going to have another challenge. If you guys are in Florida and you want to do something good for your community, get yourself a Cold Steel machete. They're not that expensive. The most expensive one's like $49, $50. Get yourself a Cold Steel machete. Sign up. Go online. You got to sign up and do all the rigmarole. But you could win some ducats, man. That dude, what did the second place winner get?
Let me check.
The top guy got 10 grand.
Yeah. 2021 winners. The second, so we've got $10,000, then $2,500. There were 3 of those winners.
So 3 people got $2,500.
Yep, and then $750, and then $500. Longest python grand prize was $1,500.
All right.
So these are the categories: ultimate grand prize, most pythons grand prize, most pythons second place prize, longest python grand prize, most pythons military veteran, longest python second place, and longest python military veteran.
Oh, so yeah, if you're down with the sickness, man, you could get it. If you're in Florida, if you're one of my many listeners in Florida, I'm like RTFO, man.
You want to know how long the longest python grand prize was?
How long?
15 feet 5 inches. That's a long freaking snake. But so that was the professional. The novice was actually longer, 15 feet 9 inches.
Oh, rock on. That's
crazy.
You want to help your community? Yeah. It says humane killing. So like a shotgun to the noggin wouldn't be humane?
I wonder how many. Do they do this every year, or is this like a?
Well, they did a 2021, so I'm guessing this is going to be an annual thing. I'm sure that they didn't eradicate the python population.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if it had been done before.
So, there you go, Florida people. Get on it. Get on it, Florida. You guys could win thousands of dollars. Think about that. Just to get yourself a freaking cold steel machete for 30, 40 bucks, and they're sharp. I guarantee you one of those cold steel Latin machetes will definitely take a python's head off. No question about it. They're an invasive species, and so the thing it says, if you use a machete or other sharp tool to remove its head, you must immediately destroy the brain.
Yeah, you have to destroy the brain, so you might as well just use the bolt gun.
Am I missing something here? How long can a python's head live sans body?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, I know that you're supposed to bury...
I want to learn more about this anyway, so I'm going to look at the actual, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff in this.
A rattlesnake, you got to bury the head because the venom is still in the teeth. Even if they're dead, they could, you could get pricked by their teeth.
Yeah, there's like a toolkit. You've got online training. There's a bunch of data information in here too.
Data as a toolkit. Yeah. So, all right, Florida citizens, that's what you want to do it. Get out, and we after we did the hog show a couple of weeks ago about the invasive hogs in East New Orleans, a lot of guys jumped out and they said, well, here's the reason. One of the reasons that is because people want to kill them, but they put so many restrictions in place that they make it like a pain in the butt to do.
Yeah.
And so they're like, screw it. If I have to like jump through your administrative hoops and play the mother may I game, then just deal with your problem. You wanted my help. That's like people who ask you for your help and you're like, okay, I'll help. And they're like, oh, but before you help me, here's the list of rules that you have to follow in order to help me. Well, then you can just do that yourself then. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right. So how far in are we, Zach?
We're about 39 minutes. We can begin the wrap-up process, which includes
okay,
the I just pasted.
Yep. So there you go. If you're in Florida, and actually right now is prime hog killing season in Tejas and in the South because, well, it's cold and they move around, and they actually will even move around in the daytime. Generally in the summertime when it's super hot, they don't move. In the daytime, you have to night hunt them. But now, especially if you're lucky enough to be in North Texas and you get an inch or two of snow on the ground, they stand out and they're easy to whack. They can't hide as well. So get out there and kill some hogs. Do your community service and kill some hogs. And if you're in Florida, you can kill hogs and pythons. There you go. We've got an administrative note. We're going to remind you guys. This is going to be the last public show of the year.
Woo! Wow.
Woo! We're going to take off next week. We'll be back on January 3rd, which is a Monday. So this show is number 1117. You got plenty of material to keep you busy. Got plenty of material. Do we have any questions in the Discord channel?
No.
New questions.
We already took care of all the questions. Okay.
Yep. If you are part of the grad program, then we will see you
tomorrow.
This isn't the last show for the grad program for the rest of the year.
Yeah, we got Thursday.
We will see you
this is the last
still this year. So join the grad program. Go to getsotg.com. Join it there. We've got Zach and I are actually in the middle of working with the developers and testing the brand new student lounge, which will be pushed live in the next couple weeks. So if you're excited about that, I know the grad program members are excited about that, then join getsotg.com. Go there, join the grad program, and you too will be able to access the brand new student lounge.
Yes. In addition to that, did we talk about the book at the beginning of this show, or was it last Monday's show?
It was the beginning of this show.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Whew. All right. Anyway, yep. So, and don't forget to pick up the any of the Patriot Fire Team books. There's 3 of them now. There's a manual, an equipment guide, and a mission planner. They're all available on our store as signed copies, or you can get a Kindle copy from kindle.amazon.kindle.com or /UK. You know how to do it. I don't need to tell you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is me telling you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you very much for being with us all year long. I truly appreciate it. And unless you're in the grad program, if you're not in the grad program, just do it. Give yourself the Christmas gift. That could be your Christmas gift for yourself this year. In addition to the will, you give yourself a membership to the grad program. How's that sound? Ooh. Put it in the stocking for yourself. Mark it from Santa.
Don't lie to yourself.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, season's greetings. And remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.